Have you ever felt like you're always chasing something, but never really getting there? Like your life is a constant marathon, and every step forward just takes you further away from what really matters? Now, take a look around you. The sun doesn't rush. It rises at the right time, every single day. The river doesn't fight the current. It flows without hurry, without stress, yet it always reaches its destination. There's an invisible harmony in everything that flows naturally. The same principle applies to our lives. When we learn to combine flow and order, chaos gives way to prosperity. But how many times have you tried to control everything? Tried to fit it all into a schedule, checking off a never-ending list of tasks, only to feel exhausted at the end of the day? The secret isn't in doing more. It's in learning to listen and act at the right moment, like the river, like the sun. When we learn to balance the natural flow of life with discipline, that's when things really start to happen. Stop and think. What if true prosperity, the kind that comes with ease and flow, only arises when you stop fighting the current? Can you imagine what would happen if you learned to flow with it? Discipline, a word many people shy away from. It feels like a prison, doesn't it? Something that limits us, forces us to give up our freedom. But what if it's the opposite? What if discipline is actually the key to unlocking the doors to freedom? Imagine your mind is like fertile soil, full of seeds of ideas, dreams, and aspirations. Without discipline, those seeds scatter randomly. Some might grow, but without the right structure, many will wither away. Discipline is the soil that organizes this chaos. It creates the space for your ideas to grow strong and thrive. It's not a prison. On the contrary, it gives you freedom. The freedom to focus on what really matters. Think about your daily life. When you get organized, when you establish a routine that works for you, doesn't your day flow better? Waking up early, for example, can feel like a sacrifice. But over time, you realize how this simple choice creates extra hours of productivity and peace. You turn chaos into control. Small adjustments can bring big results. Discipline isn't about sticking to rigid schedules. It's about creating an environment where things can happen. Get organized, and see how even the biggest inspirations can become reality. Now, let's talk about intuition. That inner voice that guides you, even when you don't fully understand the path. Have you ever felt that? That unshakable certainty, that instinct that tells you, this is the way? Often you don't have all the data, you don't have all the answers, but you know you have to move forward. Intuition is your inner guide. It doesn't follow any apparent logic. It's not something you plan, but it's something you feel. It appears when decisions are uncertain, in moments when reason fails. Intuition is like a light that shines in the middle of darkness, but it only shines when there's space for it to manifest, and that space is created by discipline. Have you noticed how, on the busiest days, it's harder to hear your own voice? Your mind is full of noise, but when you organize your thoughts and set a routine, the noise diminishes and intuition blooms. A clear mind is the perfect ground for intuition to thrive. Now think about a recent situation where you followed your intuition. What happened? Even when reason said no, something inside you knew it was the right path. And what can you do to cultivate more of those moments? Discipline creates the space. Intuition shows you the way. Discipline and intuition. At first glance, they seem like opposites, don't they? On one hand, discipline feels rigid, structured, planned. On the other, intuition is free, fluid, spontaneous. But here's the secret. They're not opposing forces. They complement each other. Together, they form one of the most powerful combinations you can have in your life. Discipline is the foundation. It organizes chaos. It gives you a firm base on which you can build. But intuition is the wind. It's the invisible force that pushes you in new directions, that makes you realize when it's time to change the plan, adjust the course. Think of a house. Discipline builds the walls, puts up the roof, creates safety. But intuition decides where to open windows, where to let the light in. It brings lightness and change without ever abandoning the structure that holds it up. And so it is in life. When you find the balance between the two, you build a life strong enough to withstand storms, yet flexible enough to adapt to changing winds. So now that you know this connection, How can you apply it to your daily life? When was the last time your intuition led you to make adjustments to a carefully laid plan? And how can you create more space for that intuition to keep flowing? Imagine bamboo. It bends with the wind, but never breaks. It adapts, but keeps its roots firmly planted in the ground. That's the true essence of fluidity. Flexibility is not weakness. On the contrary, it's one of the greatest strengths you can have. How many times in your life have you had to adjust your plans? The initial plan seemed perfect until circumstances changed. So what did you do? Did you fight the changes or adapt to them? Fluidity doesn't mean giving up on your goals. It means knowing how to adjust the trajectory. It means understanding that the path may change, but the destination remains the same. Intuition guides you in changing direction, and discipline ensures you keep moving forward even when the winds shift. The question is, are you being flexible enough in your life? Are you open to adjustments, to changes, without losing focus on what really matters? Learning to move with circumstances may be the key to turning obstacles into opportunities. Have you ever thought that prosperity isn't a distant point in the future, but something we build daily? Many believe it lies in great achievements, in big milestones. But in reality, prosperity is the accumulation of small daily victories. Each task completed, each moment of self-care, each challenge overcome. These are the building blocks of a prosperous life. When you understand this, the pressure to achieve big goals disappears. The focus shifts to constant progress. And how can you bring this into your daily life? Set small goals. Take small actions. Celebrate every victory, no matter how small it seems. Discipline gets you to show up, day after day, and intuition guides you through the necessary changes. Together, they transform your everyday life into a continuous path of prosperity. Remember, prosperity isn't the final destination. It's the path you walk every day. There are moments when life feels empty, even with so many achievements around us. It's in these moments that we realize that without a connection to something greater, our accomplishments lose meaning. It's not just about material success, but about aligning with a higher purpose. Spirituality doesn't have to be something mystical or religious. It can simply be the recognition that there is a greater force guiding us, something that gives meaning to our actions. And discipline is the tool that keeps us connected to this mission, while intuition is the beacon that lights our way when the path seems dark. Now think, what really motivates you to keep going? What are the values and beliefs that guide your actions? When you connect with this greater purpose, discipline stops being an obligation. It becomes a commitment to something beyond yourself. Not every day will be easy. There will be failures, stumbles, and days when nothing seems to make sense. But it's in these moments that true strength is revealed. Resilience. Resilience isn't about never failing. It's about knowing how to get back up after every fall. Discipline keeps you on track, making you continue even when things seem chaotic. And intuition finds new solutions, new paths, even when everything seems lost. So, when you face your next challenge, what will you do? Remember, falling is part of the journey. But what really matters is how you rise. And every time you get back up, you become stronger and more prepared for what lies ahead. Now you understand the connection between discipline and intuition. Are you ready to take the next step? True prosperity comes when we stay true to who we are, balancing order and flow. Life flows when we follow the discipline that sustains our dreams and the intuition that guides us. One step at a time, you'll get there. And if you want to strengthen your discipline even more, check out our latest video. Discipline, freedom from digital distractions. It could be the next step on your journey. If this content spoke to you, share your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to hit the like button. Let's continue this journey together.